Welcome to the Deskbound Therapy Podcast, hosted by David London. David is a posture and mobility expert, yoga teacher, and certified online trainer. This podcast is about empowering desk-bound professionals, how to live their healthiest life, and move pain-free. Now, let's dive into this episode.
Being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
What up, guys? Welcome back. This is season 2, and I'm so excited to have my boy Jimmy Kim here from Remix My Fitness podcast. We're going to be talking today about everything related to motivation, sticking to your fitness goals, sticking to your mobility goals, motivation to want to, improve your posture, what it really means. We're going to dive a little bit into, habit building, and then we're just going to have some fun and see where things go. So it's a pleasure to have you. It was great being on your show earlier in the year. Why don't you just tell the listeners a little bit more about what you do? And I love that quote you shared.
Appreciate it. Thanks, David. My name is Jimmy Kim, a.k.a. I go by MC Kim, a.k.a. the Kind Intelligent Man. And that's, if you guys ever listen to the Remix My Fitness podcast, that is who I come out as. As David mentioned, I am from Remix My Fitness. I am the head coach. And what we do is we run virtual training programs for people who work from home. So probably suits the audience over here for Deskbound Therapy. So thanks for having me on the show today.
Yeah, man, it's definitely aligned with, everything we do, but I didn't know you were doing virtual. I know you used to, do a lot of in-person work. So that's really great that you're doing that. How's that been going so far?
We had to make the adjustment because I was doing, what we do is we do a lot of corporate fitness and wellness programs. So we go to people's offices and, we either run, seminars or we run, the workouts for them. But because of the pandemic, we had to shift over. I didn't have any idea how to run virtual programs, but now we are running virtual programs for companies here in Canada and out in the United States as well. So it's been funny. It's been been able to expand this business past to the point where I thought it could go, and going so quickly. So pretty happy with that, and I think we have a very robust program. I've been able to kind of really delve into the tech side of things, and again, like, no idea how to do it, but took little pieces and bits from some of my video editing and some of the audio work on, and we have a great time doing it.
Yeah, I feel like we've all had to adapt, and even the people I work with, it's like adapting to not having, the best ergonomics their office to the beginning of the year. People were working at, their kitchen table. So everyone's like in that adaptation phase. And even with the workouts, like I found at the beginning, a lot of my clients were like unmotivated and not wanting to start training at home. And I found it easy for them to, indulge in different foods at home and just get comfortable. So if you could talk a little bit, to the listeners about like, what motivation really is, and some of those key points, because these transitions can really affect so many things, and really hold us back.
No, for sure. And I think you spoke to it, right? We've all had to make the adjustment of now we got to work out at home. Like even myself, like I didn't really work out at home. Like my home is my home, and kind of keep that to it. So I did a lot of martial arts training, strength training, powerlifting, because I'm in the industry. I have a lot of friends in the industry, so being able to go to their gyms and do things. But of course, we had to kind of take a step back, or maybe even a step forward, depending on how you think about it. You talked about the motivation aspect of it. Clients not really being motivated, but aside from having to make this shift, I think the traps are still exactly the same how it was previous to the pandemic, and for us not having access to the gyms. Eating too much is always going to be eating too much, whether we do things virtually or not. People working out from home was always available even before the pandemic, and now it's. Not only is it more acceptable now, but that you have a lot more options available to you, right? Like the Peloton app. I mean, like, I know who hasn't heard about it during the pandemic. We got things like people working out with, I don't know if you've seen those mirrors where you can do those mirrored workouts. Things pull out of there and you start doing things. And of course, virtual workouts, trainers having to adapt. So even though like there's like maybe a little angst about like, oh, I don't really work out at home. I don't really like to work out at home, but now there's more options to do it. So what is going to actually get you to work out, what's actually going to get you into shape, is always the same answer for me, which is, you have to have, 3 principles, which is 1, you need to set a goal. Set a goal for yourself, right? You know, and there's many different ways you can set that goal. We can talk about that today. You need to go out and you need to challenge yourself, right? It has to be challenging, because if it's too easy, you ain't gonna do it. And then number three, and I think the most important and I think often overlooked portion is you need to have fun with this. Because if it's not going to be fun for you, then what's going to get you out of bed? What's going to get you to turn on that virtual session when you've been in virtual meetings all day, right? So, you got to find those little things that are going to make it worthwhile for you. And those are the same things that were still the same reasons why people weren't working out before the pandemic. And it's just, we kind of now use like, hey, you know what, I don't like working out from home. That's the only thing like I don't want to do. But that's we both know probably a lie, right?
Yeah, I actually was just at the gym earlier working out, and kind of the post-COVID gyms aren't really like my vibe. I find it wasn't the
Mm.
most fun because you got to get there early lineup and you get your equipment, and then like you're waiting because it's all this distancing. And then I was
Mhm.
just like, this isn't fun, and this is supposed to be my favorite part of the day. So I was like, screw it. I went back to my condo. I finished the rest of the workout in the gym here, and like I come from the background where like I started in when I was 16 in my parents' basement doing P90X,
Mhm.
and I feel like home workouts have always been my jam. So like there's just like when the gym's busy, I'm just like I know like I need to get out there. And I was just like as soon as I got back, it's kind of more peaceful, like whether it's your home gym or or it's like whatever you have in your building. Like I'm grateful to have a pretty decent gym here. But like
Mhm.
I've always found like I've resonated with that. Like it's me, I can put in the work, and then sometimes if I do, want to go with a friend or something, they can come train with me here. But like I find like if you lose the fun in it, it just like it really kills the whole experience. Because I've
Oh,
been
for
really
sure.
kind of struggling with that. The kind of the whole pandemic has been like I feel like I started working on 2011, so I guess like 10 years now or so. I'm at the point where I'm just like I keep trying different things because I've done everything right. Like I started with the P90X and all
Mhm.
the beach body stuff for the first few years, and then I got into powerlifting and bodybuilding, and then now I'm starting to train more for sports. And then I'm trying to kind of find what's fun again for me. Like
Mm.
I found like after a decade training, you gotta really it has to be fun. Like it's a non-negotiable. Like you can
Mhm.
still train to build muscle and other things, but I find like you kind of have to like reorganize your priorities. And for me, I'm still like at this like, what do I really want to achieve? And it comes back to what you said, the goal setting.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think it's when people talk about goals, and I'm sure you must have this conversation with people, whenever you consult people, it's kind of like, hey, why are you here to see me today? It's like, well, I want to lose weight, gain weight, or be healthier, right? Those are the
Mm-hmm.
three common categories that always kind of come up. And those are great starters to your goals, and they can be part of your goal. But I find that those goals are not really the best to keep you motivated. For example, if I can talk about weight loss, right? People, how many times do you hear you get people say, I want to lose 5 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds, and the reality of it is, if they really wanted to lose that weight, and if that weight was really a goal, like a number one goal of theirs, they probably would have done it, right? Because it's not the how to lose weight's not very hard, right? Like the formula for me is always eat less and you move more, right? And theoretically, you should be able to lose weight. But the hard part is, and everybody knows that, but the hard part is, why aren't you eating less and moving more? Like why like your goal is to lose weight. You want to lose 10 pounds. You need to eat less. You need to exercise more, but why aren't you doing those things? And I think that's like the bigger question I think people should have. So when I talk about setting goals, yes, weight as a number or inches on your body are great, but I compare that to the money in your bank, right? So you'll never have enough money. And I train a lot of rich people, and they're never satisfied with the number in their bank account. Just with like people who lose weight, if you've ever helped someone lose like 30, 40 pounds, and they step on the scale, they're like, whoa, 30 pounds. I can count how, like, I can't even count how many people who will say, like, well, if I lost 5 more pounds, if I lost 10 more pounds, because they have not actually visioned what is going to do for them. They lose the weight thinking like, what, this is going to change my life. This is what's going to do it for me. But when they actually lose the weight and they see themselves like, what, that's not what I thought this was all going to end up looking like. So you think setting not proper goals, but setting multiple different benchmarks and goals for like weight loss, in terms of happiness, in terms of, let's say, your health, or people say I want to be healthy. Like, what does that mean to you? It's like, well, you know what I mean. And I do have an idea of what they mean, but what does it mean for them? Do they want lower blood pressure? Do they want do they want do they want to lower their blood pressure? Do they want to lower their cholesterol? Do they want to have a better resting heart rate? Like, having like specific goals like that are going to really help.
Yeah, for sure. Especially too if you like haven't visualized what you want,
Hmm.
you're just kind of training for general fitness. And I tell people all the time like that, like, oh, I just want general fitness and be fit. And that's when I really struggle to make someone a plan. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like
Hmm.
like fitness is like all encompassing. So I really try to, everyone has a deeper level why under like their initial why. It's really our job as, fitness professionals to uncover that. And I think it's okay at the beginning to just kind of get your feet wet and just kind of
Hmm.
start working out. But I feel like you got to really, just like you said, like people know how to lose weight. It's that why do you think people struggle with is it taking the action part? Is it the motivation? Is it the
Hmm.
discipline? I think, is it the external factors? There's, there's so much to that.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot to it. And for me, as you mentioned, this is our job to kind of figure out, like, okay, what's going to get David to like go past this month here and stay motivated, right? Um, for me, I try to find what I call the aha moment in my client, right? Like the moment where they're like, And you talked about, like, yes, general exercise would be great because fundamentals are always going to be fundamentals, right? Like how to squat, how to deadlift. I'm talking even body weight, how to do a push up, pull up. Those have not changed. Like, I've been training since, if I could date myself, I've been training for over almost 25 years now, and
Hell
I
yeah.
start. I started when, and you talk about, like, how to keep things interesting. And for me, I follow these principles, right? And from when I was 16 and I first hit the weight room with my gym teacher, how to squat, I'm sure, like, yes, they put in like little names for like how to sit down and things like that, but really it hasn't changed. So fundamentals are like the number one thing to do. But as you go along, you'll end up meeting clients, and you end up, even if this is yourself, if the listeners out there resonate with it, is, like they squat and they'll be like, you know what, like, I don't really care that I could squat 5 pounds more than I did yesterday, or I don't really care that I could do one more push up than I did last week. Like, those things don't excite some people. For some of us, that excites us. Like, yes, I hit a new PR. But some people just, they want to go out there, and they want to do something else. They want to, like, my job, like the aha moment, is to get people to say this to me, which is, did we just exercise? Was that exercise? Because I'm exhausted, but man, time flew by. And whether that is through, we train my clients through boxing, or we go for sprints together, or we hit the weight room together. Like, those are the kinds of things that, like, are gonna excite you. And the thing is, you don't have to be married to these things. Like, you don't have to be like a lifelong runner and be like, tell people I'm running, and then, maybe 6 months down the line you don't want to run anymore, and that's okay. You can try something else. You can remix you can remix your fitness. If I could plug
Oh,
that in there for a second.
that was perfect actually. I'm curious, how has your training evolved? Because I know I was talking earlier about like, where my head's at and how my training's
Hmm.
evolved. I saw you're doing some martial arts now.
Oh, I've always done martial arts. And even with my martial arts, I started my martial arts career or martial arts when I was 7, right? And I started Taekwondo for many years. And then I wanted to box, so I boxed for a few years and even got in the ring a few times. And then I missed kicking, so I started kicking and doing Muay Thai for a couple years. And next thing you know, I'm like 25 years old, getting punched and kicked in the face, and thinking like, man, it's like, I really love martial arts. I really love being this challenge, but getting punched and kicked in the face and paying for that didn't sound like so pleasant. So, I started doing jujitsu, and I've been, enamored and in love with it. I still practice everything else, but even within my martial arts, I have changed. I have remixed the way I even do it, and I'm even right now thinking like, oh, I want to learn like either archery, or I want to learn swords, or, just to kind of keep things fresh. And everywhere you go, it's a new philosophy, a new way, even though it's under the realm of martial arts. But also, what I've done is, like, I've realized, like, my balance, even despite doing martial arts all these years, probably my weakest attribute. So, just by happenstance, I woke up one morning and I thought, you know what, I want a longboard. And I told my wife, I was like,
Sick.
"Hey, I'm going out." And she's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'll be back," because I wasn't sure whether I was gonna buy one or not. So I went and I found like a small like longboarding shop, and I went to ask the guys like, "Hey, I've never skateboarded before. I don't know how to roll a blade or anything like that. I don't. My balance is awful. What could you recommend me?" Next thing you know, I'm walking out of there with a longboard, and I've been doing it for the last year and a half now, and I have an amazing time. I didn't buy it because I wanted to increase my balance, but it happenstance like it happens to help with your balance and coordination. And man, I love it. And you get a good sweat, especially when you're going up hills on that thing. So another way to like I kind of remix my fitness up. I hate running. So I talk about fun, but I'm in love with the idea of running. The romantic part of like, oh, you get that run, you get that
There's nothing
runner's.
like the runner's high for sure, but it definitely is a love hate thing.
Yeah, when you talk about that runner's high, like I haven't gotten that runner's high. I get that runner's happiness when I see my place like in the distance. I'm like, yes, I'm almost home. So I realized this, but I picked up running, because I wanted to get up early in the morning to start my day off with a win, but I couldn't. So for months, I was just like trying to run, trying to get up, set my alarm, all that stuff, not happening. So I ran into a neighbor who runs, and he gets up at 6 in the morning. He does his thing, so he knocks on my door and it says, and he's so chipper in the morning, like I hate him, but he gets me up, and we run together, and we have good conversations, get a good sweat in, and then again that's something that I enjoy. I can't run without somebody, is what I realized.
Yeah, I guess it's good to have those, supports because I found like when I first started working out, it was at my university gym and everyone was, training hard and friendly and like I
Hmm.
made a lot of my closest friends there just because I feel like the environment you're in can affect your motivation. So if you feel like, your workouts are half-assed, you're not motivated, take a look where you're training if you are at a gym. Not to say we everything we said you can't train at home. That's still all
Hmm.
great. But if you are training, at a gym, like look what people are doing. If you feel like you don't fit in the environment where everyone's all beginner, or you don't
Hmm.
want a power gym or a bodybuilding gym, like a lot goes into finding, where it feels like home can really affect your motivation. Because for me, when I was training at the Gold Ring Performance Center in Toronto, I was always so hyped to go there because I'm like, I'm gonna train with these athletes, I'm gonna train
Hmm.
my clients there, I'm gonna see, the people I teach yoga to, and everyone's really trying to, excel their performance versus, when I trained at Good Life or whenever any other gym, it didn't feel like my home
Hmm.
gym. It's kind of like when you go on vacation, you get home, you're like, yeah, nice.
No, I totally agree with that. I mean, like, I train out of, when I do go to the gym, I train out of small, like, boutique gyms here in Toronto. I have,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, fortunate to have friends in the industry who own studios and spaces. So everyone's there. Like, part of it is also they all know I would come in, I wear my Remix My Fitness shirt. I'm a little bit of a bigger guy, so they want to see what my lifts are, and I want to say that I don't have an ego, but I do, right? Like I know people are watching, people are looking, so that helps to motivate me too. That little nervousness, like, oh man, I hope I don't screw up or whatever it is. I hope I don't look like a fool. Even when I do virtual workouts, this is something different. Like I I didn't have to be like working out with people 30 minutes or an hour, for on camera the whole time, right? Or even in person. You take breaks, you check form, things like that. But I realized like working out virtually, like yes, I'm there to motivate people, but I'm also like kind of like a little form of entertainment, we'll say. And because of that, you end up picking up heavier weights, or you end up trying different things. And I always tell people on camera, like, it's okay to fail, right? Like, I mean, we're home. This is the best place to like make mistakes and things like that, as long as your space is equipped. So my clients see me fail on lifts sometimes here, or they see me get tired, and I think it makes them also feel like, okay, you know what, well, he's a human being, and you know what, he's trying, he's going for it, and he doesn't care what he looks like. So I think I receive that same energy back from the people that I train with.
No, it's really good to like, and I that was one of my favorite like few years in my lifting career was when I was powerlifting and chasing the numbers because
Hmm.
there's something just so exhilarating of getting that superhuman strength and
Yeah.
always adding the weight. I find you'll see progress a lot faster versus like if you focus on the strength and less on like, whether it be losing weight or building muscle. I found like as you get stronger and you push yourself, like that's when you notice your body start to change versus, just focusing on, just how much weight you lost or how many calories you burned during
Hmm.
cardio. There isn't what's going to be, as fulfilling because like you develop that strength and you also develop the strength in your mind at the same time, especially when you push those big weights. Like I remember I deadlifted, I think it was 405 and I was like 140 and I was like so
Mm.
proud of that.
It's
And I was like,
amazing. It's a
damn,
huge
that's like,
PR.
yeah, it was a huge PR. And then yeah, that was just like, and then at the gym, everyone was asking me for tips and stuff, so it was
Hmm.
pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, like things like that, like it's so amazing, and like I think you hit that like hit that button there, which is if you lift heavy weights, you're going to lose weight. Like if you go for a run and you enjoy running and you do it often enough, you're going to lose weight. Play basketball, play frisbee, you play badminton, longboard, whatever it is, right? Like if you think that the only way to lose weight, get strong, build muscle is by going to the gym, you're wrong. And especially if you hate going to the gym and you think that is the only way to do it, you're even more wrong because any physical activity that you do, right? Like if you look at the definition of exercise, anything to get your heart pumping, blood moving, lungs working, those are the things that are going to inhibit change in yourself, right? And for me, because I've been doing it for so long, I have to change I have to change constantly, and I'm no yogi, or I would almost barely consider myself like a martial artist because I just love doing it all, and I need to try different things to get me going. And I also notice when I do different things that I see a big change in my body as well.
Yeah, recently I've been like I've totally changed what I'm doing and it's like
Mm.
so new to me. Like I've always played ultimate frisbee
Mm-hmm.
competitively and recreationally, but I just started working with a coach who's like just for ultimate frisbee and like it's different training than I've ever done. Like we're doing like a ton of like footwork drills, plyometrics, like running intervals. And like I've done like running here and there, just like laps and stuff, but it's really new to me and I'm like failing a lot and I'm having trouble with these like sprint mechanics and stuff and it's just like whoa, I thought I've done it all but it's just like wow, I'm failing like every day. I'm watching these videos over and again and just trying
Mm-hmm.
to to get my form better. So it's been like a fun experience and that's partly why like a few years ago I did like a bit of gymnastics because I was bored and wanted to try something else and
Mm-hmm.
and both of those things like it takes years of failing to become successful. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, I think, I made the right choice, but it's just like you said, like I could do this for 6 months and be like, I did it, I had fun, and then try to find something else. Or if, this is what I really want to stick to, then I can, stick to it to the long term. But like if you're like stuck in group classes or you're stuck at your desk and you're not doing anything, like this is your opportunity to just kind of explore and find what you like. Like maybe you just like stretching and running, or maybe you just like, using machines at the gym, but it's that thing that's gonna make it fun is what's gonna bring you back for sure.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned failing, right? And you find that fun, right? And for me, that's like that to me is also the fun part, like failing on lifts. Like, dang, like
Mm-hmm.
why did I like what could I do better, right? Like you're frustrated, but at least it's fun. And I that second point that I was talking about, right? We talked about goals, we talked about keeping it fun, but also there's the challenges as well, and these are the challenges that you're learning new skills, learning new tools. Even when I go and I get a lot of I call like maintenance work on my body. As I have to train and I do a lot of training myself. I see a physiotherapist, RMT, things like that. People who are professionals in their field, and then they give me things to do that I can't do, right? Because I don't have like the awareness in my body. I'm thinking like, why can't I do this? Like I should know how to do this, but it's a fun activity to kind of work on, as to help better yourself. I had a quote in the beginning, which is being comfortable, being uncomfortable, right? And you need to make yourself uncomfortable sometimes, and no one's going to do it for you. You got to do it on your own. Otherwise, you're not going to have any change. If we do the same training, like if you do the same thing all the time, and are you going to improve in ultimate frisbee, right? Most likely not, right? And you working with somebody to help those things, I mean, there's no guarantee that they're going to make you better, but at least it gives you something else to think about. Like, you know what, these speed drills aren't for me, right? And you know what, I don't think this is gonna help someone like me, but these other drills over here, these strength training drills or these band drills, you know what, they've helped a lot, and I've seen a personal improvement by it. And again, making things like that like pretty fun to do.
Yeah, like coming back to being, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, like what are some, tips or strategies that you use with people to, to push themselves, to stay consistent and to, to just like see out their goals. Like I know like a lot of, of what fitness is the mindset piece itself and the discipline. Whereas you get other people who are just kind of in it. That's not, I wouldn't say in it for fun, but there's people who are more disciplined and, less disciplined. And then there's people in the gym you'll see who look the same year after year.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I've been working with David for about 1.5 years through his online training program. I first came to David when I wanted to improve my fitness for curling. He's really helped me through that by personalizing a program that really focused on what I needed for my sport. Along the way, he's been so helpful, checking in with me every week to make sure that the program was working for me, providing a good mindset for every week, and also helping me with good eating habits. He's also provided me some of the routines that I can do at work to improve my mobility, which really saves me a lot of time. And I'm seeing the results in my game. I'm stronger and I can compete through a long weekend tournament without feeling tired. So if those things sound good to you, you should give Deskbound Therapy a shot.
Year after year, as in like they haven't made any improvements.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how do you make yourself uncomfortable? I mean, really, like you only know the answer to it, but like, whenever I always kind of give the example, right? Like we as trainers and coaches, we use like reps, right? So for example, I could say, someone says like, how many reps should I do? How many sets should I do? And I said, well, you do anywhere between, if you want to build some strength, anywhere between 10 to 12 reps. And they're like, okay, great. And then they come back and like, I did 10 to 12 reps, but I didn't really like, I didn't see like much of improvement. And I said, did you do 10 to 12 reps like this, where you go 11, 12? Like, did you do it like that? Or did you do like 10, 11? Oh man, I don't think I could do 12, because there's a difference between lifting to 12 reps because you're told to do 12 reps, and there's a difference between you trying to lift 12 reps when you're not sure if you can do the 12 reps, right? So, you have to kind of challenge yourself that way. Otherwise, like I said, you're not gonna see.
That's really where the games are made. It's those last,
Yeah.
those last 3 reps are what, what make the results. Because your body,
Mm-hmm.
you need to, if you want to, get stronger, faster, whatever, you need to be able to push yourself and push your body past its threshold, so you can, your body can, grow and then recover from there. So, but yeah, a lot of people too, like for my clients, I'll say 10 to 12 plus reps, but I don't want you to just do that. I want you to, auto regulate, change the weight, change the tempo, and push yourself. Like my last set in the gym earlier today, like there was me and there was one guy on the treadmill, and I was grunting the shit out of those curls. I was just like going freaking like beast mode. I was just like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I'm just like, it actually does help. Like, like it engages your core, but like that's the intensity you need. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what you got to bring, because that's the intensity you're gonna bring to, to your work and your career and to the rest of
Mm-hmm.
your life.
Yeah, and that is like, let's say, and going back to the goals, like that's great if your goal is you want to build more muscle and you want to
Yeah.
see a physical change in yourself. You're talking about the people who look the same day in and day out. Perhaps it's fun for them to, and I know it is for them
For
to
sure.
go to the gym and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do my thing. You know what, I see David, I see Jimmy. I say what's up, and it's like this kind of social thing for
Yeah,
them.
for sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're getting a workout, and maybe they're not pushing to the absolute max, but they're pushing something, and maybe for them it's like, you know what, this is where I want to be generally healthy. I want to get in some physical activity. I'm not really so concerned about my gains and or my losses, things like that. So, there's also that. I bet you those people I bet you those people challenge themselves in maybe another aspect. You put them in, like, the difference between someone who you're like, hey, go to the weight room, and I got friends like this. You go to the weight room and they're just like they can't wait to get out of there. Just like, oh, are you done? Like, how many sets do you have left? Like, oh my goodness, another 20 minutes. But then you put them on the basketball court,
They're
and
killing it.
they're going hard, like they're competitive, they're sweating, they're yelling, right? And different things affect different activities will get different people going, right? And it's up to you to find those activities. We get so stuck, like, thinking like, this is what I need, this is what I want, then this is the only way to get there because I see all these sexy people on Instagram on Peloton doing their thing, so this must be the only way. But it isn't.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because like at the end of the day, especially for those desk bound people listening, like all that really matters is you find a way to get up and get moving. Just don't spend your whole day at your desk. So whether it's like you like yoga or you like bodybuilding or
Hmm.
sports or running or even just walking or whatever virtual fitness classes, the key is that you do something to improve your health, because the worst thing you can do, and I talk about this all the time, is just sitting there is just gonna, isn't gonna it's do anything for you. Like, it's going to affect your mental health, your cognitive health. It's going to affect your breathing, your confidence. So just like find what you like and then do that. And one strategy I used to use back when I was, really trying to just get consistent with the gym is, or wherever you do, whether it be the yoga studios, I would go every single day, even if it was my rest days, and I would go there and go through my warm up and just kind of go on the little cardio bike, just do a little bit of mobility, do a little bit of hips and rotator cuff, and then leave. Like, it's just me getting into the habit of
Hmm.
going and getting in there kind of removes that barrier and removes the need for the motivation because it's so ingrained. Like, I would just, finish studying at school, I just go to the gym, go do my routine, and then if my body felt like I could push it and do more, I would do more. If it was like a rest day or just like a miscellaneous day, and then other days I would just go on the bike and leave. But it was just like, there's got to be times where you can't rely on motivation specifically, and you have to, be a habit of creature. So that I wouldn't necessarily say that, like, it took a bit of discipline to build that habit. But once it becomes subconscious, I would just, go in the habit, walk in there, be like, hey to all the people who work there, go to the change rooms, and by the time you know it, you got a sweat on, you want to keep going.
Hmm. And that habit portion's so huge. Like, I have a slightly different approach to that, but I have a habit, which is I need at least 30 minutes of my own physical activity. So I'm
Hmm.
physically active all throughout the day, and even before. But I need 30 minutes of my time, and somewhere throughout my day, like when I wake up or even when I go to sleep at night, I have an idea of what my day is going to look like, with a little bit of room to make spontaneous things happen too, right? So it's I look at it, I'm like, okay, how can I get my thing in, like my thing where it's for me and not for anybody else. And it's important for me to get that in so that I could have mental clarity on my day, and it could be anywhere in the day. And again, I'm in this fortunate aspect. Like, I keep not athletic, other, because not all of them are super athletic, but I keep very active people around me, and sometimes they'll just call me. Like, I got a call yesterday. It's like, hey, I rented a basketball court on Sunday. I don't play basketball. I'm terrible at basketball, but I said, sure, let's do it, right? Like, let's go and do that. And I every day I'm doing something different on top of, like, the regular lifting. So I make that a very important habit for myself.
I think that's important too, because if we're only active for that 1 hour, 30, 45 minutes that we're working out, like, you're still sitting at your desk the rest of the other 8 hours of the day. So,
Hmm.
same for me. Like, I find my best days, my most productive days, where, I'll have a workout or I'll play sports in the evening or I'll go for a walk or something in addition to it. Cause I feel like you can get a lot more benefits. It's not like to become obsessed and push yourself. But I feel like not enough people even get 10,000 steps in a day. Like we need to be moving more on a whole. And
Hmm.
and it's not just the time in the gym. Like it's okay to to work out and to play sports in the same day. It's okay to do that and go for a long walk, because we are designed to move, and there's just a ton of benefits. Like let's get you, find more ways to get up from the desk is the bottom line to get
Yeah.
moving.
No, I think you definitely hit on the nail. Like, that there's all that information. Like, don't work out more than twice a day, or have like 48 hours rest in between, and that's very all well and good. For I'd say like the general rule of thumb. But I'll tell you right now, I work out 4 to 6 times a day on camera right now, 30 minutes each. So think like that's 2, maybe sometimes 3 hours. Then I'll go do like an hour of like jujitsu, or an hour of powerlifting, or an hour of running, or whatever it is, somewhere throughout the day. I'm almost 40 years old, and I still feel relatively pretty spry, and some days where I have to swap, like, okay, you know what, I can't work out for 30 minutes today, or I can't do that hour because I'm feeling kind of right. So I need to have like what is it called, a self-care day. So that self-care could be, right, and I consider this part of exercise too, right? I could be stretching, it could be breathing, it could be getting my massage gun and massaging myself, right? Foam rolling, whatever it is, right? So again, like, part of it is like reading your own body, and understanding it. And I think the more you are active of whatever kind, right, you are a lot more aware of your own body, which I think, at the end of it, makes you a lot more efficient and healthier.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna ask you, how have you like been able to, keep the injuries down through your 25
Hmm.
year career, and how you're able to, and if you've had any, big setbacks, like, and have you gotten past them?
Yeah, so I mean, lots of setbacks. I mean, in 25 years, you're gonna get things. I only have half a pectoral on my right side. I tore that maybe like 13, 14 years ago at a jiu-jitsu tournament. It ripped right off, so I only have half. People always ask me. I always get odd questions at the beach, like, the funniest. This is funny, but it also they ask me often, like, did like a shark bite you? I'm like, no, shark did not bite my chest off. Things like that. So it is. It's a combination of, your self-care, right? I talked about the foam rolling, massage. I regularly see somebody, like, whether it's a physiotherapist or RMT, every month, at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, just as like a tune-up. Sometimes I'm not even hurt, like, or there's nothing really wrong with me. I just want to go see them, see what's up, and get a little bit of love outside
Mhm.
of the love that I give other people, right? And also knowing, some days you don't have to go 1,000%, right? So I do jujitsu, and like I said, I'm a relatively a bigger guy doing jujitsu. I'm a black belt in jujitsu. So when I go and you go and you spar, we call it rolling. uh People below you, and even people at the same level as you, they want to test themselves, right? How will I do against this guy over here, right? How will I do against this black belt? And they'll go 1,000%, right? And uh there's some days where, yes, I have an ego, and you know what? Let me prove you this. And some days I'm just like, I like, in my body, I know, like, you know what? If I push it too hard, I'm not gonna feel like the greatest. So I'm just there defending, and just still getting a sweat going on, but just making sure that I'm good. Like, I remember this guy approached me last time, and I could tell he was just really wily, going really crazy, and that's when injuries happen. I know this for a fact. I know it's for a fact because it's happened to me, and I used to do it to people as well, just going like absolutely crazy. So I just kind of held him down, pinned him down, and at the end of the class, he came up to me. He says, "Wow," he's like, "I really appreciate you pinning me down, and showing me like a lesson, and this and that." And I told him, I said, "Look, I didn't do that for you. I did that for me, right? I didn't want to get injured. I didn't want to get hurt. And you rolling like this, you sparring like this. He was a white belt. You're going to hurt somebody, or you're going to hurt yourself. So I know how to protect myself. So I'm going to protect myself by pinning you and letting you kind of exhaust yourself. So knowing
Pretty
yourself."
badass.
Yeah, knowing yourself, and also knowing yourself to either this is the day to push, or this is not the day to push, right? And then also having some self care. Probably the two tips I would give somebody to stay injury free.
Another big thing too is you don't need to be on like a strict schedule.
Hmm.
Like you're working 4 to 6 times a day, or some people will work out, 3 to 5 times a week, whatever. But it doesn't always need to be, Mondays upper body, Tuesdays lower
Hmm.
body. Like for me, like just with my sports schedule, I've only trained upper body once a week for the last, 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm totally fine with that because I'm still getting active other ways, and I feel like you tend to lose the motivation. You're like, yeah, Monday's chest, Tuesday's bench,
Hmm.
Wednesday's squats, Thursday's back biceps, Saturday's legs again. And then you miss a day and you're just like, well, I feel like crap.
Hmm.
I'm off my entire routine. I might as well stop working out. And,
Exactly.
and I see it all the time, even to my friends too. Like my buddy who works out with me in the gym here. He's like, it was like he was over and it was 10 o'clock and he saw I had dumbbells in my living room and he's like, shit, I missed leg day. So he starts like doing like lunges on my couch. He's like, all right, I guess I didn't miss leg day. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess you see, you did something. It's better than nothing.
Right, right. That comment always reminds me of people who start diets, right? They either start
Hmm.
the diet on the Sunday or the Monday, and the first couple days goes like kind of nice, right? Like Monday, Tuesday, you pack your lunch, you eat, we used to pack lunches, right? And you start eating really well, and then Wednesday kind of hits, and you're kind of like off, but like you know what? I'll make it up on Thursday. Thursday comes around, your office or whatever has bagel day or something like that, and you're like, you know what, this week's over. You're gonna have to restart on Monday again, or I'm gonna have to restart at the end of the month. I'll do it again at that time. Like how, and I find that like having that kind of like really strict schedule, and again probably the idea of like weight loss on the top of their minds, doesn't really form into the best kinds of habits.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I also like what you mentioned about like just going for a massage earlier. Like that's something like I do religiously. I just like one, like it feels good, and it's good to be proactive to take care of your body. Like I'm just trying to, one for stress, like you want to keep that down if you want to, be happy and healthy, and just like investing back into your body because we push ourselves, at the desk, sitting at the desk alone is hard on the body, doing any sort of physical activity is a lot on the body. So we're taking and taking, but we need to learn to give and receive that self-care, especially
Hmm.
too, like, we need to, actually prioritize mobility. And like my clients will have mobility days in their schedule and different days for specific areas. Because if you don't prioritize, your shoulders and your hips, for example, and getting that quality work and building strength in just those areas, then and nothing else is if you don't is really going to be important. Like that it having that fundamental and those foundations are huge.
No, for sure. And I want to ask you, like David, what kind of massages you like? You like the pitter patter with the rocks and the scents, or like you like it when where
Okay,
people just go to,
okay.
oh, gotta get in there.
So I go to a really awesome RMT. Shout out to Savannah Cameron on Instagram. She's amazing. She does like a kind of sports style. She has a background in like she studied fascia for years. She's also studying osteopathy. So she does like, manual release. She does like fascial glass. She does a lot of really cool stuff. And I've been
Mm,
to some of those guys in Toronto at like my detox, but I really like her style. It's like sports style, but also like it's really relaxing at the same time. So she'll kind of like do a nice assessment of your joints before, and like she'll be able to tell you where you're holding stress in your body. So
mm,
I like that kind of massage. I don't really like the one where they just kind of rub you down. Like I want, one specific to, like I've been working a lot of bench. Like let's open up my shoulders, or,
hmm.
my calves are a little sore from running. So I find it great. I just would say like if you're gonna invest, like go to someone who is going to work on the areas that are bugging you, and versus just kind of doing things here and there that are just
Yeah.
like massage guns are great, but like go see a professional if you really want to, if you can afford to do it and it's safe in your area.
I mean, the massage guns are like I like to think of them as like supplements.
Hmm.
Exactly, it is like it's just they're not the end all be all, but you know, I don't have the bank account to have a massage therapist with me every day,
No.
every day, and like for me, like I see in terms of practitioners that I see, like in terms of massage therapists, I got four that I always see, and depending on what I need, and I know what their specialties are. In terms of physiotherapists, I got three. In terms of chiropractors, I got two. So, I've been I have this list of people because I've gone out and I've tried all different kinds of things, and I know what my body responds to, and I'm always searching for new, because it's if you kind of get stuck with the same people kind of doing the same things, like how often times are they going to relearn new stuff? I hope a lot, but a lot of times they're busy too, right? Like, how are they going to learn new techniques when they're constantly like massaging you all the time, or constantly seeing patients? Like, are they going to go home and be like, yes, you know what, I want to learn more about RMTing, even though I've been doing this for 10, 15 years? But the new generation too will have like a lot of new techniques and a lot of different ways to treat you as well.
Yeah, just a few more months and you can add me to your list of physio. So
Yeah,
come and see your
nice.
boy. Come and see your boy DVT for some treatment.
You gonna hook me up with some airfare to come see you too?
Oh yeah. No, I'm coming back to Toronto, man.
Oh, are you? Nice.
December 1st, I'm gonna be moving back. So we'll
Oh,
definitely
nice.
have to get a workout in
Hey,
and
December 2nd, come to my birthday jam if we're
oh
still open.
for sure, for sure, for sure. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
So where do you see like things going like post COVID with fitness and everything? Like, do you think like people are gonna be back in the gyms, or like where do you see like do people plan on continuing your virtual classes? Like, what is like the next 5 years look like for Remix My Fitness?
Oh well, I mean, we've this is it's funny because this is where I've really wanted to be. You know, I wanted to be able to connect with people virtually, or online. I didn't think it was going to be virtually, but virtual has actually been real nice. And you know, we continue to run the programs here for companies. Right now, companies out here in Toronto are slowly going back to the offices, so we are working
Mm-hmm.
on like hybrid programs. So because some of the places have their own facilities, or you know, these to get trained in person. But yeah, I think over the next year or two, it's still a really toss up. I'm going to continue to do the virtual stuff and build this stuff up here. But I think now, where people were maybe a little bit apprehensive about working out from home, are now more okay with the ideas. Like, you know what, working out from home isn't so bad. Just need to make some of these adjustments, and need to rework my rework my like my own personal objectives. So I think, if anything, because of the pandemic, working out from home has become more normal and doable to do. So there's going to be a lot more people to that. In terms of the gyms, I think it's tough, because I mean, like, how do gyms make money, right? Gyms make money by packing people into the
Mm-hmm.
place, right? Or from, making money from the personal training that's offered there. So if there's not enough people, then our personal training rate's going to go up, or our gym rate's going to go up to the point where, not everybody. I mean, already it was kind of like not that accessible for some people, having to plunk down like, even like 80, $90 is considered low here in Toronto in terms of like a regular gym membership, right? Like, gym memberships are like, can anywhere between like 120 to 150 a month. And I'm talking like large chains. So how are these smaller places going to keep going, especially with the rent going up? So I'm very interested to see how gyms like Good Life or Anytime Fitness or any of these, or Vive that's around here, how are they going to survive this when they can't pack in the numbers? So, like, what do you think?
Well, I really like too what it's done for, physiotherapy and healthcare. Like even for like my business itself, like I've been offering more in person, also online assessments and consultations. And I find like I'm able to keep better tabs on my clients with, everything that's happened since the pandemic. Like I did online coaching beforehand, but I started doing, more in-depth consultations and assessments in terms of mobility and stuff. So I've been finding like it's good for a lot of industries because, I can make my clients, different plans on my app to do throughout the day for their injuries. And I can, review their form and get back to them a lot faster rather than being tied up at the gym, training people all day. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It really depends. I feel like more people are going to continue to invest in building really nice home gyms. Like I've seen a ton of really
Hmm.
nice home spaces available. And I think trainers will start going to homes more and continue doing online classes, because like, gyms are great. But yeah, just like you said, like they're packed and the COVID is still out there. But I think,
It's
I
still out there
think I
for
think
sure.
like people building backyard gyms or home gyms and having friends over is going to be a big thing. I think yoga classes will continue, but we're gonna kind of just have to see as things go. But the key is like the whole theme of this podcast is You got to stay motivated through the all the uncertainty, really. That's the key.
Mm-hmm. And how do you stay motivated? Like this is like why does someone hire like us, people like us, right? I find it's either because they don't know what to do, right? Like they're just like they don't know where to start, right? Like what do I
Mm-hmm.
do? Like do I start benching right now, or like do I start doing body weight, right? Or they don't have like they want you to find the motivation for them, right? Or help them like kind of keep to their goals, right? Which is again kind of going back, it's important for us to kind of figure out like what are their triggers, or like what's really underlying that reason of like why they want to lose weight, right? And then number three, which is they don't want to look silly, right? They don't want to look like a fool in front of whoever. Like I want to exercise at the gym, but like I have no idea how to use that equipment, so they shy away. So what do they end up using? The elliptical machine or like the treadmill, and the half the time they just kind of like they're hating it, and they haven't even tried lifting of a weight because they're so worried about what other people are going to think, right? So if you fall under any one of those three categories, like really figure out like, okay, what do I want out of this? Like what are my goals? Like what else? Yes, I want to lose weight, build muscle, sure, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. You don't even need to worry about that. But what is it that I really want out of it? Two, how the heck am I going to challenge myself doing this, right? Because if I go for an hour walk, and yeah, sure, I can walk like real slow, real whatever, and mentally I'll feel amazing. But if part of your goal is to become, do something physically different, then you're gonna have to figure out a different way to challenge yourself. Whether it is like, you know what, let me walk from this lamppost all the way around 2 times, and let me see like how long that takes me. And tomorrow, let me see if I can beat that time by 10 seconds, right? And making that challenge for yourself. But at the end of it, if it's not fun for you, like if you're just like, you know what, I don't really care, and the next day you do that walk and you're 10 seconds over, you're like, meh, oh well. That those are things to like really consider. You know, really kind of consider some thought if you're feeling like, you know what, I can't bring myself to work out today, so I need to change one of these three things, or sometimes all three.
Yeah, for sure. And those are some big things too for for people listening to really think about to see which one particularly would benefit you the most, because there's so much that goes into this. So just like really reflect on what we've talked about in this episode, because I still have some soul searching to do to figure out really, like, I'm having
Yeah.
fun right now with with my sports training, but I have a bit of uncertainty, and that's okay. But I'm still kind of doing the things. Like today I just went in and I was like, did a bit of back, bit of biceps, bit of
Hmm.
shoulders. I was just like, let's just feel it out. And I find even though that can be the most effective thing, it's really just like what your body needs too is so huge. Like with anything you're doing, like when you're sitting at your desk, you really ask yourself, what does my body need in this moment? Like I like how like, do I need this rest day today? Or even the jujitsu, like you're always coming back to to self-reflection. I think that's a
Hmm.
a big takeaway of mine today is is that self-reflection in your career. You're sitting at your desk, everything, it's gonna help us be more connected to what we're doing and stay therefore stay motivated.
Yeah, and just talking about one point, which is, what's the gym industry going to be like, or fitness
All right.
industry going to be like, which is, I think once things start to open up, you're gonna see a lot of like, hey, come try this for free, come do this 1 week, come do this or that, or even virtually. Like, how many people are giving away free weeks or free passes to a virtual training session? Lots, right? What is the cost of you having to try something that you haven't tried before, whether it's yoga, fitness, or whatever? Nothing. The cost is actually you not trying it, and you're not even giving it a fair shake, because you're like, nah, I don't know if that's gonna work for me, right? But try it. I mean, like, even a lot of martial arts gyms give like free days. A lot of even fitness gyms like Good Life will give you like 7 days. Try it out, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, you know what? It didn't cost you anything.
Yeah, and reflecting to what you said about the cost of personal training, I feel like everyone should have a trainer at least when they get started. Like I myself, I've been coaching, I've been a trainer for almost 10 years and doing online for about six or so. But I've worked with various other coaches for myself because
Hmm.
I specialize specifically and posture and mobility. And I take care of so many other people. Like sometimes I just need someone to take care
Yeah.
to check in with me. Like there's nothing wrong with even if you're a trainer or you're new to working out, even if you're advanced, like I feel like it's gotta hopefully it can become more of the like you're starting to see more and more people do online coaching, but like you know, having a coach is there's just so many benefits. You know, we can keep you accountable, we can check in with you, we can help you make, changes on the fly, keep you motivated. In my case, if you're struggling with pain or pain in the gym or any discomfort lifting or just, mobility restrictions from doing Deskbound, that's where someone like me can really help you out and kind of tell you exactly what you need to do to get back to hitting your goals. And Jimmy can help you, to get in shape at home. And there's always going to be someone who resonates with you. And I feel like it's like we should be, we should be up there with like, primary professionals.
Yeah. No, I can't agree with you more because like especially about the part where it's going to resonate with you. Like there's so many trainers, there's so many virtual trainers, there's so many, like, even when I got into this business 10 years ago, like people are like, but there's so many personal trainers out there, like everybody's a personal trainer. It's like, sure, but are you going to train with them, right? Does that person resonate with you? Like, am I going to get, I'm just going to shoot this out there. Am I going to get like a, 21-year-old female who wants to, do modeling, right? And she wants to get a better shape for modeling? Probably not, right? Probably not. The people that want to work out with me, they have a different set of goals, right? They're like probably very similar to your audience. People who work from home, they're in their 30s to 40s, right? And like I know that's who the audience is, and that's why they work out with me, because they resonate with me, they resonate with my story, they resonate with the workouts that I do. And then you're gonna have people who work out with you, and that model girl is gonna go and find work out with somebody who maybe was a former model, worked in the industry before, knows what kind of workouts and things to look out for, and they're going to resonate with them. So there is something out there for everybody, and whether it's paid or whether it's free, like you're gonna find something. So just go out there. You gotta try it. You just gotta do it.
Yeah, man, so much great information shared today, and I hope all the listeners can, to check out, Remix My Fitness, and maybe, let them know how they can, connect with you, check out your online virtual classes. I would love to, hopefully collaborate one day doing a workshop or something in corporate. That'd be pretty cool. We'll have to
Let's
chat
do it.
about that sometime. I've been
Yeah,
diving
yeah.
into it recently. We just recently did one we just got a contract with the government, so that's been
Mm-hmm.
great. So
Yeah. You with the OPS?
yeah, we've been doing one for a few departments in the government of Canada, so that's been sweet. But yeah,
That's amazing.
hopefully, like I'd love to do more stuff in offices long term as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's I've been doing things in offices for quite some time now. And I sometimes like forget what it's like to be a beginner, like, or even someone who is not even ready to go search for help, right? Because you do these seminars, and it's people who kind of like, they're kind of forced to attend because the work is giving them the health day or the health hour or whatever it is. So they're like, oh, we brought this guy Jimmy Kim, and he's gonna talk about lower back health, and it's like, ah, all right. But then they tune in and they're thinking like, wait a minute, that those are my pain points. He is trying to help me through my pain. I've never considered those things. Or, you know what, I totally forgot about those things. I do have those weights at home. I can try these exercises. So you meet people who you didn't think that they needed help, but they end up finding out, like, you know what, they do need help, and you've given them a spark to go out and to go and at least start their journey.
Absolutely. So could you just share where your social media where all the followers check out Jimmy
Yeah.
Kim's social media? He's got great stuff out there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you Google Remix My Fitness, Instagram.
Also
I
in the
do
show
it.
notes below, we'll have all his information if
Yeah,
you which will be great to connect with him.
for sure. YouTube, Instagram. I do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. If you guys want to connect with me on LinkedIn, look at Remix My Fitness, Jimmy Kim, MC Kim. I'm not a hard man to find.
Well, thanks a lot, MC Kim, for coming on the show. Really appreciate having you on. Definitely check out the Remix My Fitness podcast. And thank you so much to all the Deskbound Therapy listeners. Episode 43. Grateful for those of you who are able to listen to this episode. And if you are looking to, improve your posture and your mobility, we are opening up our 12 weeks to perfect posture, October and November challenge groups for the 12-week online group coaching program. So if you want any info about that, or if you just want to chat with me and ask me some questions, I respond to all direct messages on Instagram at Deskbound Therapy. So would love to hear from the fans and the listeners of the show. And thanks again to Jimmy. It's a pleasure to have you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, David. I hope to be back on again sometime soon.
Oh yeah, man. Episode 101. We'll have you back.
101. All right, perfect. You heard it here, guys.